Hi, my name is Tanya Bro. I'm one of the volunteers for the Wildlife Rescue Center of Napa County. In fact, I volunteer for the Songbird Clinic on Silverado Trail. I have a really exciting story about how I got involved. I actually was walking my dog one day in Fuller Park, came across a baby squirrel that had clearly fallen out of his nest. So I picked him up, took him home, I got him into a box, got him on the dryer to keep him warm, and then of course I had no idea what to do next. So I got on the internet, I found the Wildlife Rescue Center of Napa County, and I called the Hawk line, and that is HAWK, so 224-HAWK, Hawk. And within 30 minutes, we had one of the wonderful volunteers come and get the squirrel and rescue him for us. So with me today is Deb, and she is the wonderful volunteer who actually saved the squirrel. Deb, it was such an exciting experience, and you really inspired me to become a part of this organization. But why don't you share with everybody what the process was? You came over, you picked him up, and then...
Well, I took him home and warmed him up and gave him fluids and then fed him. And it took about 2.5 months before we were able to release him back into the wild. And it's a gradual process from warmth and then off the heat to a cage, an outside cage, and then to a larger enclosure and weaned until being able to be released back into the wild.
Well, and you were really kind. You actually invited me out a couple times to meet the squirrel and see that he was growing and thriving. So that really kept me so inspired. And once the squirrel was actually released, I got a hold of the Wildlife Rescue Center and offered to be a volunteer. And that's how I got involved with the Songbird Clinic. And this is now my 3rd season. And what we do is from April to September, we help orphaned or injured baby songbirds, basically. And we feed them, we care for them, and then we release them. So it's such a fulfilling experience. It really is.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's a great organization.
It really is. So, and I'm so glad you got me involved, Deb.
Well, thank you, and thanks to all the supporters out there that donate and support us to continue what we do.
Yeah, we could not do it without you. So thank you so much for your support.
I love what I do. I'm so grateful to be a volunteer for Wildlife Rescue, to be able to do this, to nurture and love these little guys until they're able to be released back into the wild. Thank you for allowing me that opportunity. Your donations make this happen. Hi, my name's Debbie Welburn. I'm the squirrel rehabber for Wildlife Rescue Center, Napa County. And I have 3 little squirrels here that I'm rehabbing at. Actually, I have 4, but here's 3 of them that I'm rehabbing at my house. One is a Western native gray, and 2 are little fox squirrels. And they're all approximately about the same age, and their eyes all opened up approximately a week ago, except for the native gray. His opened up yesterday. So they're all together right now. Usually we don't have them together, but since they're so young and we're still waiting we'll probably get another little gray in because it's that time of year. And so we're waiting for a buddy for him. But until he gets a buddy, he's going to buddy up with the little fox squirrels because they don't know any difference right now. They're so young. And we're going to get ready and feed them. Okay. This is one of 2 that came in when they were 26 grams. They were pinkies. We weren't sure what kind of squirrel it was at that time because it was so young. And a gentleman found it in his backyard. The nest had blown down from a tree. And unfortunately, the mother was there, but he didn't know to just take his dog in and leave the squirrel alone. And the mother would have came and retrieved them. The squirrels usually have backup nests, and so if a nest becomes unusable, they'll take their babies and move them to another nest. So he brought them to Silverado, and I picked them up, and they were, like I said, 26 grams, and now they're approximately 200 grams. So right now we're feeding him, and we don't encourage the public to feed. I'm a licensed volunteer for Wildlife Rescue, and so I've been trained on how to feed and care for these little guys. And the public when they find an orphaned or injured animal, they need to either call a hawk line or take it to Silverado Vet, and then it will get transferred to one of us who's licensed to rehab these little guys. I don't get attached to them because I know that they're going to get released back to where they came from, where their home is in the wild. And I'm just grateful that there's so many people out there that continue to support and love the wildlife. Thank you for your love and support. It allows us to rehab and release these critters back into the wild in Napa County. It's wonderful work. It allows us to do all this wonderful work.
Hello, I'm Janice Taylor. I'm a volunteer for the Wildlife Center of Napa County. I volunteer rehabilitating songbirds and opossums. And thank you for your support. This enables me to do the work I do and enjoy so much. I've always been interested in marsupials, and this is a Virginia opossum, and it is North America's only marsupial. Marsupials are animals that raise their babies in a pouch. When I had an opportunity to rehabilitate these in my home, I was excited. I took a course. Their raising is unique in that they need to be gavage fed. When they're babies, you have to put a tube into their stomach, and I feel comfortable being in the medical field doing that. I've been doing this for 7 years in my home. I take in orphaned or injured opossums. Often opossums are orphaned because mom's hit by a car and the babies are in the pouch. If you see an animal hit by a car and you can safely stop, check the pouch, see if there's babies. If there are babies, you can put the deceased mom in your car and take it to Silverado Veterinary Clinic, and they will remove the babies and give me a call, and I will raise them until they can go back in the wild. This particular opossum came into care this summer. She had an injury consistent with having her head chomped on and being shaken. She was found curled up, dehydrated, emaciated, and unable to move 3 out of 4 of her limbs. She came into care, and I was able to take care of her, and to the point that she is able to walk, run, and climb. The goal was to get her back into the wild, but unfortunately, several of her neurologic injuries persisted, and she involuntarily falls over unexpectedly. That meant she was not a candidate to be released into the wild. The next step would be to consider her for a zoo or a wildlife ambassador. In rehabilitation, we want to keep these animals wild. We don't name them, and we don't have much human contact because we want them to fear us and to live a wild life. At the point where we knew she could not be rehabilitated, I had to start socializing her, and I started bringing her in my home and putting her in the lap and getting exposed to human contact and human noises. It just so happened at that time it was the playoffs for the Giants and the World Series. And that gave her, of course, a lot of exposure to humans and noise as we cheered the team on. Incidentally, the days I couldn't have her in socializing her, or we were at someone else's home, the Giants lost. So when the last game happened, I had several calls saying, "Is the opossum in your lap? She's their good luck charm." And yes, she was, and they won, as you know. She also had no name, and at that point we were looking for a name, and we thought, what could be a more appropriate name than to name her after one of her Giants fans, which was Buster Posey. So Posey Opossum, this is her name now, though she's spelled with a feminine form, P-O-S-I-E, after the flower. And we were not successful in finding another facility to take her in for education. So Napa Valley has never had an ambassador or an education animal, and this gave us an opportunity to get licensed and apply. And thanks for the generous support of our donors, we were able to pay for those permits, and we have our very first animal that will be going to classrooms and in the public to educate them about Napa Wildlife Rescue, about our wild neighbors, and how to live in harmony with them, and about all the wonderful work volunteers do to get the animals back in the wild. Being nocturnal, being out in the daytime, she's a little sleepy. We've been working with her to help teach children how animals have adaptations to their environment. We talked about her good sense of smell. Her ears have a lot of muscles in them so that she can move them all over and improve her hearing. And she has opposable thumbs on her hands because she climbs, and she also has the same thing on her toes. Let's see if I can get her to show you her toes. She has opposable thumbs on her toes. Let's show her my foot here. There's her little foot. She can climb really well, and of course her tail helps her climb. And being a girl and a marsupial, she has a little pouch, and we've been working on showing off our pouch. There's her little pouch. This is where babies would grow, not for her, but marsupials in general. She has little freckles in there and a bunch of little teats. There's our Virginia opossum, our only marsupial. And all her wonderful adaptations to the environment. Thank you for your generous support so that we can rehabilitate these marvelous animals, return them to the wild, or in Posey's case, have an ambassador that will help educate the public about our organization and about our wild neighbors and the importance of having them in our lives. Thank you.
Okay, this is a little American goldfinch that was just brought in today. He couldn't fly, so he might have hit a window. He's still pretty active, so I don't think he's too badly hurt. So I'm going to take him home. I have a bird room. I'll put him in a cage in there, feed him, hydrate him if he's dehydrated, and then observe him for a while. So he may just rebound and be good to go pretty soon, but if not, I have an aviary that I'll keep him into until he's fully flight ready. But he's a beautiful little male, so I'm sure he's eager to get out and meet some females this time of year. My name is Carol Poole, and I'm a volunteer with Wildlife Rescue Center, Napa County. This will be my 5th season at the Songbird Clinic, and the Songbird Clinic is one of the main places that your donations go to help us. So the Songbird Clinic takes in hundreds of birds every year between April and the end of September. And we take in baby birds that have been, maybe the parent has been injured in some way or killed, or often the birds are just found by people and they don't know that the parent might be around and they bring it in. So they bring it to Silverado Veterinary Hospital, and then we take it up to the Songbird Clinic. So we have, the Songbird Clinic is open 7 days a week from 7 in the morning till after 9 at night, however long it takes us to take care of the birds. We did like 600 birds through the Songbird Clinic last year, so we'll have, you know, maybe 80 to even like 110 birds there at any one time. And they start as babies. They get fed every 15 minutes. So we need to have a lot of volunteers there to help with the feeding. They grow, you know, the feedings get extended over longer periods of time, and eventually they're self-feeding, and then we move them out to an aviary and they're released. There's lots of things to do at the Songbird Clinic.
We need a lot of volunteers. It's really fun, it's hard work, but it's really rewarding, and everybody that comes out there, you know, actually gets to work directly with the birds. So it's very rewarding. So please come on out and join us and help us make this a really successful season. So we really need your financial support, and what is very important is that we are able to raise the money to build a permanent wildlife rescue center here in Napa County. Napa County is the only county in the Bay Area that doesn't have a permanent rescue center. And so, you know, that would be a big thing to put your donations towards. It's a goal for the future. One of the things we can't do because we don't have a permanent rescue center is take care of hawks. When they come in injured, I take them to my home, I stabilize them, and then we transfer them over to other centers in Santa Rosa and Sonoma County. And that's not good for the hawk, and it's not good for the people of Napa County either. You know, we should be able to work with those birds and take care of them here. So please donate. Your money is so appreciated, and we're going to put it to really good use.
So we thank you again for all of your support, and I'm sure many of you are wondering if you can become a volunteer, and the answer is yes. It's something that you will get back so much more than you ever invest. All we ask is a little bit of your time and a little bit of love. That's really all it takes. So we hope that you'll become a volunteer as well and help the Wildlife Rescue Center of Napa County thrive.
Yay.